The waves of Thalassia were not gentle. They rose like walls of liquid metal under the pale light of two suns. And the tides moved with a force that could tear a ship apart. Captain Ilara Voss stood at the edge of the observation deck, her dark hair whipping in the wind, and watched the endless swells. Her crew of humans had explored many strange worlds, but nothing like this. The ocean stretched beyond the horizon, covered in a thick, metallic fog that shimmered like liquid silver. Even the instruments on their ship, the Horizon's Edge, seemed to struggle against the interference from the fog and the tides. "Ilara, sensors are showing something ahead," said Yorin, her second in command, his voice tight with excitement. He pointed at the holographic display. Hovering above the deck, a faint outline appeared on the map, moving upstream against the natural current. "I don't understand. Nothing should be moving like this. Not even a storm could push anything against the tide." Ilara squinted, her eyes narrowing as she focused on the figure. The readings were unusual. The object was enormous, larger than any ship known to exist in this sector, and its energy signature was unlike anything they had encountered before. It didn't match any known propulsion system. It was as if the ship itself were alive. "Bring us closer," Ilara ordered. Her voice was calm, but inside, her heart thumped with excitement and fear. The crew had heard the legends, tales passed down by the local settlers. They spoke of an ancient galleon, a ship that moved silently against the tide centuries ago, never seen again until now. Perhaps, as the horizon's edge approached, the fog grew denser. The lights of the mysterious ship appeared and disappeared like ghosts. The ocean reflected the dim glow, making it hard to see its full shape. But as they closed in, the outline became clear. It was a galleon, old-fashioned in appearance, with towering masts and sails that seemed to ripple in a wind that did not exist. And yet, along its hull, strange metallic structures glimmered faintly, as if the ship had merged with technology far beyond human understanding. The crew was silent. Some of them whispered, afraid to speak, while others stared in awe. A ship like this, moving by itself, defied everything they knew about physics and mechanics. Could it be an automated relic? Some kind of long-forgotten technology? One of the engineers asked. His voice trembled. Ilara shook her head. No machine could resist the tides like that. Not for this long. This is something different. Something alive. In a way we do not understand. The galleon seemed aware of their approach. Its slow, deliberate movements against the tidal currents were not random. It changed course, as if studying the horizon's edge, testing them. The crew felt an uneasy mix of curiosity and fear. "Prepare a boarding party," Ilara ordered after a long pause. "We need to understand this ship. It may hold knowledge beyond anything we can imagine, or dangers we cannot foresee. Suit up. Take everything necessary. We go carefully. No mistakes." The crew readied themselves, strapping on reinforced suits and checking the tether lines. The horizon's edge edged closer, and the air between the ships seemed to hum with energy. As they attached the docking lines, Ilara felt a strange vibration through her hands. It was subtle but insistent, as if the galleon itself acknowledged their presence. Once aboard, the scene was unlike anything the crew had anticipated. The deck was wooden, polished by centuries of wind and water. Yet here and there, metal panels gleamed with a faint, otherworldly light. The sails were intact, though worn, and strange carvings ran along the edges of the hull. Symbols that seemed to pulse softly in the dim light. "Looks abandoned," whispered one of the crew, stepping cautiously onto the deck. Ilara's eyes scanned the horizon. "Abandoned or waiting," she corrected softly. "We have to move carefully. Something is guiding this ship. I can feel it." As they entered the interior, the mixture of old-world craftsmanship and advanced technology became more pronounced. Wooden corridors twisted around glowing panels, and intricate mechanical systems hummed quietly, responsive to unseen commands. The crew exchanged uneasy glances. No human had built anything like this. It was alien, yet strangely familiar in its artistry. Then came the first strange sensation. Hallways seemed to shift subtly when touched. Doors appeared where there were none before, or corridors stretched longer than their measurements suggested. Some crew members reported seeing brief flashes of images, faces, voices, moments from centuries past vanishing before anyone could focus. "Ilara, do you see that?" Joran whispered, pointing at a wall where the grain of the wood flickered like a screen. Ilara nodded. "Yes. Keep calm. Record everything. These are not hallucinations. This ship, it is showing us something. Maybe memories. Maybe tests." The crew pressed onward, following the dim lights and glowing symbols. The air smelled faintly of salt and metal, and an underlying hum vibrated through their suits. They arrived at a central chamber, where the pulsing glow concentrated. In the middle of the room, suspended slightly above the floor, was a translucent figure. Humanoid in shape, but made entirely of light and energy. "I am Kale," the figure said, its voice neither male nor female, calm but commanding. "You are aboard the galleon known to your legends as the Silent Voyager. I am its guardian. You have entered a place of purpose. You will face tests, and your choices will determine your place in the galaxy." The crew froze. Humans were not unfamiliar with artificial intelligence, but Kale was unlike anything they had encountered. It seemed sentient, aware, and more than just a program. Its energy flowed like liquid light, reacting to their presence. And somehow, Ilara felt it could perceive her thoughts. "Why are you here?" she asked, her voice steady despite the unease in her chest. "Why guide this ship against the tide?" Kale's form shimmered. "The universe balances on understanding and adaptability. This galleon moves as a sentinel, observing civilizations, evaluating them. You have been chosen to demonstrate your abilities, your creativity, and your resilience. Humans have potential, but potential must be proven." The crew looked at each other. Some were skeptical, others were mesmerized. The galleon itself seemed alive, aware of their presence and responsive to their movements. Ilara realized that leaving now would mean abandoning knowledge that could advance humanity for centuries. But pressing forward also carried unknown risks. "Very well," she said finally. "We accept. We will face whatever test this galleon presents. But know this: we are humans. We survive through ingenuity, teamwork, and courage. Those are our strengths." Kale's glow pulsed brighter, as if acknowledging her words. "Your confidence is noted. Your journey begins now. Observe, learn, and act wisely. One wrong move, and the consequences will be severe. One correct choice, and your place in the stars may be earned." The crew split into teams, exploring different areas of the ship. Every room held a mix of wonder and danger. Some chambers contained ancient maps of stars, long forgotten. Others had devices that hummed with a language of energy, waiting to be understood. The galleon responded to their presence, doors opening or closing, lights shifting, subtly guiding or testing them. Ilara led her team into a room filled with floating orbs of light. Each orb displayed a different scene: humans of the past, explorers from distant worlds, civilizations rising and falling. The images moved, almost alive, showing choices, mistakes, and triumphs. "Do you see this?" she whispered to her crew. "This is knowledge, history, maybe even prophecy. We have to be careful. One wrong step could change everything." As they observed, the ship's movement seemed to synchronize with their actions. The tides outside slowed, as if the galleon had paused to watch them, to measure their responses. Ilara realized then that the legends were true. The galleon was not just a ship, it was a living sentinel, guided by purpose, intelligence, and perhaps even morality. Hours passed. Though it felt like days, the crew learned to move with the ship, to read its signals, and to interact with Kale. Subtle tests challenged them. Puzzles of logic, tasks requiring teamwork, and decisions where the outcome was unclear. Each success was met with gentle acknowledgement from Kale, each failure with immediate correction. Never punishment, but always observation. By the end of the cycle, Alara stood once again on the deck, looking at the tides. The galleon remained still, almost calm, as if satisfied with the human responses so far. The metallic fog swirled around them, and the twin suns cast long reflections on the water. The crew gathered behind her, exhausted but exhilarated. "Today we have only begun to understand this ship," Alara said, her voice quiet but firm. "But I can feel it. This is not a trap. This is an opportunity to prove what humanity is capable of, and I believe we are ready." Yoren nodded beside her. "It's incredible. Alive, yet ancient. Dangerous, yet welcoming. I've never seen anything like it." Alara smiled faintly, the first warmth of hope breaking through the fear. "Then let's continue. There is much to learn, and much to face. But remember this: we are humans. We survive against odds, and we adapt. No tide, no galleon, no test can stop us if we work together." The galleon remained before them, silent and still, yet alive, in a way no machine or animal ever could be. It was a mystery, a challenge, and perhaps a promise. Humanity's journey into understanding the universe had only just begun. As night fell on Thalassia, the stars reflected in the metallic sea, and the horizon's edge rested beside the silent voyager. The crew slept uneasily, dreaming of ancient civilizations, unknown energies, and the tests that awaited them. But even in sleep, a spark of courage burned in each heart. They were humans, and humans did not surrender to the unknown. They faced it. And so, the galleon waited, silently, as if it had guided them here for a purpose only time would reveal. The galleon was quiet as the first light of Thalassia's suns touched the metallic fog, painting the waves with gold and silver reflections. The horizon's edge had tethered itself securely beside the ancient ship, and the crew of humans gathered on its deck, each of them still feeling the strange energy that radiated from the silent voyager. Alara stood at the edge of the observation platform, her eyes scanning the galleon's hull. It seemed even more alive in daylight. The wooden structures glimmered subtly, and the alien lights within pulsed in rhythm with the waves, almost as if the ship was breathing. "Alara, Kyle wants to communicate," Joran said, glancing at the holographic interface he had set up. A soft blue glow appeared in the air before them, forming into the humanoid figure they had met the day before. Its light shimmered as if sunlight passed through water, changing with the angle of the suns. "Good morning," Kale said. Its voice carried a strange calmness, neither loud nor soft, filling the deck in a way that made it impossible to ignore. "You have rested. It is time to continue your journey within this vessel. There is knowledge to gain and challenges to face. Every action you take here reflects your species' capacity for adaptation." Alara nodded. "We are ready. Show us what you want us to learn." Kale's form pulsed, and the crew felt a subtle vibration through the deck beneath their boots. "Follow the paths of history. Understand the purpose of this vessel. You will encounter obstacles that test intelligence, courage, and unity. Only those who work together may uncover the truths hidden within." The crew hesitated briefly, then began to prepare. They moved toward the boarding ramps leading into the silent voyager, their suits humming quietly. The air inside smelled faintly of salt and old wood, mixed with a metallic tang that hinted at the alien machinery embedded throughout the ship. The corridors twisted in ways that made the human crew pause. Wood panels seemed to shift slightly when approached, revealing hidden passages, while glowing symbols appeared along the walls. The crew had begun to notice that the ship reacted to their movements, almost as if it were aware of their decisions and adjusting accordingly. "This place, it's like it's alive," whispered one of the engineers, a young woman named Lyra. "I've never seen technology move with purpose like this. Like it can think," Alara nodded. "It's alive. Yes, but not in the way we understand life. We need to respect it and study it carefully. One wrong step could change the path of our journey here. They moved deeper into the ship, entering a chamber that stretched far longer than its physical dimensions should have allowed. Along the walls floated shimmering images, like projections, but three-dimensional and alive. They depicted civilizations rising and falling, planets forming, and stars being born. The crew moved slowly, watching in awe as scenes of ancient humanity blended with alien worlds they could not recognize. "Is this history?" Yoren asked, awe in his voice. "All of it? Or visions of what could have been?" Kale's voice echoed softly around the chamber. "It is history, memory, and possibility. The silent voyager carries the knowledge of civilizations across the cosmos. It observes patterns, learns from choices, and preserves wisdom. You may take from it what you can comprehend, but remember, understanding is earned through action, not observation alone." Elara stepped closer to one of the projections, her eyes drawn to a scene of a human-like civilization exploring the stars. Their ships were sleek, their cities magnificent, yet signs of internal strife and greed appeared subtly in the images. She realized the galleon was showing not only achievements but the consequences of choices. "We need to study these carefully," she said. "Kale wants us to learn, but it also wants to see how we handle what we discover. We must think critically, not just marvel." The crew split into teams to explore different sections of the ship. Lyra and two engineers moved toward a room filled with strange devices, glowing with pulsing energy. When they approached, the devices responded, lights brightening, and wires subtly shifting as if trying to communicate. "I think it wants us to interact," Lyra said. She carefully touched one of the panels, and a holographic diagram appeared, showing a network of energy flows. "It's not a language we know, but patterns are universal. It's asking us to solve a puzzle." Hours passed as the engineers worked, testing hypotheses, adjusting circuits, and observing results. Each time they succeeded, the lights of the devices pulsed brighter. Each failure was met with gentle correction. Lights dimmed, and a subtle vibration guided them toward a new approach. Meanwhile, Elara and Joran led another team through a series of chambers that seemed to respond to thought and observation. Doors opened when they approached with a certain confidence. Hallways shifted to present new paths when they considered multiple options simultaneously. "This ship is testing us," Joran said. "It's evaluating how we think, how we work together. It's almost human in its approach, yet far beyond our understanding." Elara nodded. "Yes. And that is why we must remain calm and focused. It's not trying to harm us. At least not yet. It wants to see our species' potential." As the crew explored, subtle visions appeared before them. Each member saw different events from the galleon's long history. Lyra glimpsed a civilization that had once built ships like this one but had been destroyed by internal conflict. Joran saw glimpses of planets abandoned too soon, civilizations lost to fear or indecision. Elara saw humans of the past, explorers venturing too far without caution, yet learning resilience in the face of impossible odds. "These visions, they're not memories," Elara said softly. "They're lessons. They're showing what happens when choices are made without wisdom, and what happens when courage is combined with reason." The day passed quickly, though it felt like a lifetime inside the ship. Every chamber held knowledge. Every corridor held a challenge. And every interaction with the glowing panels, or floating orbs, tested their minds and their unity. The crew began to understand that the silent Voyager was not just a ship, but a sentient archive, a guardian of knowledge, and a test of civilizations. By late evening, they gathered in the main chamber, where Kale's figure appeared again. Its light was steady and bright, illuminating the entire room. "You have done well today," Kale said. "You have observed, adapted, and demonstrated cooperation. Yet the path is far from complete. Knowledge alone is not enough. You must also act. You must show courage and judgment." For the next challenges, we'll test your capacity to make decisions with consequences. When the Menaki, Intrigi, Ilara stepped forward, we are ready to act. We will face the challenges, and we will learn from them. But tell us, what is the purpose of this ship? Why has it existed for so long, guiding civilizations like this? Kale's form pulsed. The silent Voyager exists to preserve balance. It moves silently through the cosmos, observing, testing, and recording. It intervenes only when a species shows potential that could shape the future of many worlds. Your species has shown curiosity, courage, and resilience. These are qualities worthy of observation. The tests are not arbitrary, they reveal the capacity to evolve responsibly. The crew absorbed Kale's words, feeling both awe and responsibility. The galleon was more than a relic. It was a guardian, a mentor, and a judge. They realized that their actions within the ship might determine not only their future, but humanity's place among the stars. Later, as they rested in a chamber that seemed to respond to their need for comfort, Lyra whispered to Ilara, "Do you think we can truly understand it? Or are we just pawns in a game we don't fully see?" Ilara considered the question. "Perhaps both," she replied, "but we are humans. We learn, adapt, and face the unknown. Even if this is a test, we will face it together. And that is what will make the difference." Night fell over Thalassia, and the metallic fog glowed faintly under the light of the twin suns. The waves rose and fell like a breathing entity, reflecting the lights of the silent Voyager in their shifting surfaces. The horizon's edge rested beside the ancient ship, tethered but alive in a way no human vessel had ever been. The crew slept, though rest came fitfully. Dreams were filled with visions of ancient civilizations, vast oceans of stars, and the glowing figure of Kale watching them. Even in sleep, the ship seemed aware, almost waiting for the humans to rise and continue their journey. When the first light of morning broke, Ilara awoke with a renewed sense of purpose. The galleon's soft hum resonated through the deck. She felt the ship's subtle energy, as if it were guiding her thoughts and sensing her determination. Gathering the crew, she said, "Today we move further into the ship. We will face new challenges, puzzles, and perhaps dangers. But remember this, humans survive against the odds. We adapt, we think, and we work together. That is how we will succeed." Joran nodded, eyes bright. "I've never seen anything like this. It's like the ship is alive, and it wants to see what we are capable of." Ilara smiled faintly, her heart steady. "Yes. And it will see. Because we are humans, and humans do not surrender to the unknown. We face it, learn from it, and overcome it." As they prepared to move deeper into the silent Voyager, the ship seemed to pulse with approval. Corridors opening as if welcoming them further into its secrets. The journey had only begun, but already the humans felt a bond with the galleon. A strange respect for its intelligence and purpose. The ocean of Thalassia stretched beyond the horizon, indifferent yet beautiful. And within its metallic fog, the silent Voyager waited, silently observing, guiding, and challenging. The humans would soon discover that courage and intelligence alone would not be enough. They would also need heart, unity, and wisdom to navigate the trials ahead. The adventure continued, deeper into the ship, into mysteries that had spanned centuries, and into the essence of what it truly meant to be human. The corridors of the silent Voyager, twisted like living rivers, folding and stretching as the crew moved deeper into the ship. Each step brought new surprises, subtle shifts in the walls, and symbols glowing faintly in patterns they had not yet deciphered. The humans had spent days exploring, learning to work with the ship's unusual systems, and interpreting Kale's guidance. Yet, nothing had prepared them for what came next. Ilara led her team through a chamber that seemed larger than any space they had entered before. The walls were polished wood, but embedded in them were veins of glowing energy. pulsing gently like the heartbeat of the ship itself. The air carried a low hum, resonating through their suits and even into their bones. The crew exchanged cautious glances. "Something is different this time," Joran said quietly. "The hum, it's stronger. It feels like it's watching." Ilara nodded, her eyes scanning the room. "Yes. I think Kale is beginning a new test. One that goes beyond observation and puzzles. This is a test of judgment and action." As they moved forward, the floor shifted beneath them. Wooden panels lifted and dropped, creating new paths. While some corridors vanished entirely, the crew realized the ship responded to their choices, subtly adjusting obstacles and openings based on their decisions. Then, before them, a large chamber opened, filled with dozens of holographic projections. Planets rotated slowly, their surfaces detailed with cities, oceans, and forests. On each planet, life moved, some intelligent, some primitive. The projections were accompanied by soft musical tones, changing subtly as the humans approached, creating an almost hypnotic effect. Kale's voice filled the chamber. "Here lies a test of perception and consequence. Observe carefully, for your actions now may alter the flow of events. The ship presents challenges, not of strength, but of wisdom and collaboration. You must act together to achieve balance." The crew stepped closer, studying the projections. Ilara's eyes fell on one planet in particular. Its cities were flourishing, but they noticed instability, natural disasters, and social unrest appeared simultaneously, as if the civilization was on the edge of collapse. "What does it want us to do?" whispered Lyra. "We can't control these worlds. They are just projections." Kale's holographic figure shimmered. "They are more than projections. They are simulations of decisions and consequences. You will influence them indirectly, through observation, guidance, and strategy. The ship tests your ability to perceive cause and effect, to plan, and to act responsibly under uncertainty." Ilara turned to her team. "We need to work together. Observe the patterns, identify the problems, and choose actions that prevent disaster. If we fail, it's not just these projections that suffer. The ship will record our inability to adapt." The crew moved into positions around the room, each taking responsibility for different worlds. They noticed patterns in the simulations. Economic instability followed, environmental disasters, and poor communication led to conflict among cities. By coordinating their observations, they began suggesting interventions. Small holographic interfaces appeared at their fingertips, allowing them to manipulate resources, redirect energy flows, and balance social dynamics. At first, the results were inconsistent. Some actions caused unintended consequences, while others stabilized the simulated worlds temporarily. The crew argued and debated, testing theories and adjusting their approaches. Kale observed silently, its light pulsing in rhythm with their efforts. Hours passed. The crew learned to communicate more effectively, combining intuition, logic, and creativity. Ilara realized that this test was not just about solving a puzzle, it was about demonstrating human adaptability under pressure. The ship's challenges mirrored reality. Decisions had consequences, and cooperation amplified their effectiveness. Suddenly, the simulations intensified. One planet began to experience violent tectonic activity, while another faced a rapidly spreading epidemic. The crew felt the pressure rise, adrenaline sharpening their focus. "Ilara, if we don't act fast, both will collapse," Joran shouted. "Stay calm," she replied. "Trust your training and the patterns we've observed. Focus, communicate, and act." They divided tasks precisely. Lyra managed the epidemic, allocating resources and guiding the population toward safe zones. Joran focused on stabilizing the tectonic activity, analyzing the planetary energy flows and predicting the next shifts. Ilara coordinated, ensuring each intervention complemented the others. The room pulsed brighter as the crew acted, the projections responding dynamically to their decisions. Slowly, the chaos began to stabilize. Cities survived the disasters, and populations adapted to new challenges. The crew realized they had passed a critical stage of the test. Their teamwork and judgment proving effective. Kale's voice filled the chamber once more, calm yet resonant. You have demonstrated foresight, adaptability, and cooperation. Yet the greatest challenge is yet to come. The ship will now present obstacles that cannot be solved by logic alone. You must combine courage, ingenuity, and human spirit. Ilara's brow furrowed. What does that mean? We've already faced complex problems. Kale's form pulsed, casting light across the chamber. Problems may be complex, but survival may require risk and innovation. You will encounter physical obstacles that test your ability to act under pressure, using both your minds and bodies. Your ingenuity will determine your path forward. The floor beneath them shifted again, and the walls rotated to reveal a massive chamber filled with intricate machinery. Some components resembled ancient engines, while others were advanced beyond human comprehension. A low, continuous vibration emanated from the room, and the crew realized it was not merely machinery, it was a part of the ship's consciousness, reacting to their presence. This is different, whispered Lyra. It's almost alive. Yes, Ilara agreed. And it will test everything we've learned. The crew approached a central platform, where a control interface floated in mid-air. The interface responded to gestures, requiring precise movements to activate different systems. Some actions had immediate results. Others triggered chains of reactions across the machinery. Missteps caused alarms, warning lights, and sudden mechanical shifts. This is like nothing we've seen, Yorin said, moving his hands carefully. It's not just mechanical, it reacts unpredictably. But maybe that's the point. We have to understand it, and adapt quickly. Ilara nodded. Focus. Don't panic. Remember, human ingenuity is our greatest strength. Observe, learn, act, and adapt. They work together, moving their hands, directing energy flows, and adjusting mechanical systems. The ship tested them continuously, introducing new obstacles, forcing them to think on their feet. Some crew members faltered, but Ilara encouraged them, reminding them of their strengths. Hours passed in a blur of activity, sweat, and intense concentration. Slowly, the systems began to respond in harmony. The machinery pulsed with the crew's actions, shifting from chaotic reaction to synchronized flow. The silent Voyager seemed to hum approvingly, its lights stabilizing, the energy within the room becoming steady. You've done well, Kale said. Its form shimmered brighter than before. You have demonstrated courage, ingenuity, and unity. You have begun to prove that humanity is capable of rising to challenges that require more than technology or force. Your ability to adapt, to think, and to work together is your greatest strength. Ilara exhaled, leaning against the railing of the platform. We've come far, she said quietly, but I can feel there's still more to face. The ship is still guiding us, testing us. We've only scratched the surface. Kale's figure shimmered once more. Indeed. The final stages of the test will require even greater courage and wisdom. You have proven that humans are capable of learning and adapting. Now you must demonstrate that you can face danger, uncertainty, and the unknown without fear. The crew looked at each other, exhaustion visible on their faces, but determination shining in their eyes. They had faced simulations of worlds, disasters, and unpredictable machinery and survived. Yet the knowledge that more challenges awaited filled them with both anticipation and resolve. Ilara stepped forward. We are ready. Humans do not falter when faced with the unknown. We learn, we adapt, and we act. The silent Voyager will see what humans are truly capable of. The chamber shifted again, walls and floor realigning to form a long tunnel leading deeper into the heart of the ship. The vibration of the machinery became a steady pulse, guiding their steps. Each crew member moved carefully, aware that every action mattered, every decision carried weight. As they walked, subtle visions appeared, brief glimpses of past explorers, some who had faced similar trials and failed, others who had risen to challenges and triumphed. The crew felt the weight of history and possibility pressing upon them. Lyra whispered, "It's almost as if the ship is teaching us through experience, not just observation." Ilara nodded. "Exactly. And that is the lesson. Knowledge alone is not enough. We must act, adapt, and overcome. That is what makes us human." The crew pressed onward, their determination unwavering. The silent Voyager moved with them, a living entity guiding, testing, and observing. The trials they had faced so far had strengthened their minds and their bonds. Yet even as they advanced, they knew the ultimate challenges awaited deeper within the ship, challenges that would push them to the limits of ingenuity, courage, and human spirit. And so, with every step, the crew of the Horizon's Edge continued their journey, deeper into the mysteries of the silent Voyager, ready to face the trials that would define their place in the cosmos. The silent Voyager pulsed with life as the crew advanced deeper into its heart. The walls seemed to breathe, the corridors stretching and folding as if alive. Every step reminded them that this ship was more than wood and machinery. It was a sentient archive, a guardian, a test of humanity itself. Ilara led her team, her eyes sharp, her mind alert, knowing that the greatest challenges were still ahead. Kale's holographic form appeared ahead, glowing softly, its voice resonating throughout the chamber. "You have demonstrated adaptability, intelligence, and courage. Now you will face the final test. This is not a test of knowledge, nor of skill alone. It is a test of your spirit, your humanity, and your ability to act for the greater good under uncertainty." Ilara's jaw tightened. "We are ready." The crew entered a vast chamber that seemed impossibly large. At its center floated a glowing sphere, radiating energy that shimmered in every color imaginable. Around the sphere, holographic projections of planets and civilizations rotated, each showing thriving life, but also signs of imbalance, conflict, scarcity, natural disasters. KL spoke again. "These worlds are simulations of potential futures. Some may survive, others may perish. Your choices will influence the outcomes, but the challenges you face are real in consequence. You must act decisively, wisely, and with compassion." The crew understood immediately. This was the culmination of all previous tests. The sphere represented the interconnectedness of civilizations across the cosmos. Every decision they made could tip the balance toward survival or destruction. Ilara stepped forward. "We have learned to observe, adapt, and act together. Now we must apply everything we know. Humanity survives not because we are the strongest, but because we think, we feel, and we cooperate." They divided into teams. Lyra took charge of civilizations threatened by environmental disasters, using the ship's holographic interface to redirect energy flows and stabilize ecosystems. Yoren focused on social balance, guiding populations toward collaboration, resolving conflicts, and distributing resources where scarcity threatened to spark violence. Ilara coordinated the efforts, ensuring each action complemented the others. At first, the results were inconsistent. Some worlds stabilized, while others teetered on the brink of collapse. The sphere pulsed faster with every failure, sending waves of energy that rattled the crew's suits and equipment. The pressure was immense, yet they did not falter. "We have to think creatively," Lyra said, analyzing the energy flows. "We can't just react. We need to predict consequences, anticipate chain reactions. Look at how the worlds interact. They are connected. One failure can ripple across the system." Ilara nodded. "Exactly. We are not just solving isolated problems. We are managing a network of life. That is what humanity is capable of, seeing the bigger picture and acting with reason and care." The team refined their approach, communicating more effectively than ever. They synchronized their actions, balancing risks with foresight. Slowly, the unstable worlds began to stabilize. Ecosystems recovered, cities rebuilt, conflicts eased, and populations adapted. The sphere's glow softened, shifting from chaotic pulses to a steady, radiant light. Then, a new challenge emerged. A sector of the sphere, representing a distant civilization, began to collapse rapidly. faster than they could manage with their current methods. The holographic projections showed massive storms, failing energy grids, and population panic. The crew felt the tension rise. Hesitation could lead to irreversible consequences. "Elara, it's too fast. We can't control it all in time," Yoren shouted. Elara's mind raced. "Then we must act differently. We need to work with the systems, not just manipulate them. Think in terms of flow, not force. Use the ship itself to guide our interventions." She gestured, and the interface responded to her intuition. The crew followed, adjusting energy flows, redirecting resources, and harmonizing actions across multiple civilizations simultaneously. The ship pulsed in response, aiding their decisions, subtly guiding them towards solutions they could not have reached alone. Gradually, the collapsing civilizations began to recover. The storms calmed, the infrastructure stabilized, and populations adapted to new circumstances. The crew exhaled in relief, realizing they had achieved a level of coordination and ingenuity beyond anything they had known possible. Kale's voice filled the chamber, warm and resonant. "You have demonstrated the qualities that define humanity: courage, ingenuity, empathy, and the ability to act for the greater good. You have passed the final test. The Silent Voyager recognizes your potential, not merely as individuals, but as representatives of your species." Elara stepped forward, her heart steady despite exhaustion. "We did what humans do best. We adapt, we think, and we act together. We protect what we can, not because we must, but because it is right. That is who we are." Kale's figure pulsed brighter, its light reflecting across the chamber and onto the crew. "Your species has shown it can rise above fear, selfishness, and uncertainty. You have proven that humans are capable of responsible stewardship, of learning from challenges, and of shaping the future wisely." The sphere at the chamber's center dissolved into streams of energy that flowed across the walls and into the corridors. The entire ship seemed to respond, vibrating with a steady rhythm that resonated through the human suits. It was as if the Silent Voyager itself was acknowledging their success, recognizing them as worthy. Then Kale spoke one final time. "The Silent Voyager offers you knowledge, guidance, and access to technologies that may advance your civilization far beyond its current state. But this gift comes with responsibility. You must use what you learn wisely, to preserve life and foster growth across the cosmos. The choice is yours." Elara glanced at her crew. Each member met her gaze with a mixture of awe and determination. "We accept," she said. "We will use the knowledge to protect, to explore, and to ensure that humanity rises responsibly. We will not abuse it. We will not exploit it for selfish gain. We will honor the trust the Silent Voyager places in us." Kale's figure shimmered and expanded, filling the chamber with radiant light. "Then, humanity has earned its place among the stars. You have shown that your species is not defined by power alone, but by courage, wisdom, and the capacity to act for the greater good. The journey of your civilization is now intertwined with the legacy of the Silent Voyager." The ship shifted subtly, and corridors that had been complex and twisting became open and navigable. The humans could feel the flow of energy guiding them, the vessel now fully responsive to their presence. Knowledge archives, star maps, and schematics of advanced technologies appeared, accessible to anyone willing to study and learn. Elara and her team moved through the ship, marveling at the treasures of knowledge it contained. Ancient designs for energy systems, propulsion technologies, far beyond current human understanding, and records of civilizations across galaxies lay before them. Every discovery was a reminder of the responsibility they had accepted. Outside, the ocean of Thalassia glimmered under the twin suns. The fog had thinned, revealing the vast expanse of water stretching beyond the horizon. The Silent Voyager floated silently, its energy now calm, harmonious, and almost serene. Elara looked out over the water. "We have faced the unknown and survived. We have learned and adapted. And now, humanity has the chance to rise, not through conquest, but through courage, wisdom, and unity." Joran nodded beside her. The ship trusts us. It recognizes the human spirit. That is more than technology or strength, it's something unique to our species. Lyra smiled faintly. We've earned this. But it's only the beginning. There is so much to explore, to learn, and to protect. Ilara's gaze returned to the silent voyager. Yes. And we will. Humans survive. Humans adapt. Humans rise. That is our legacy. And now, the legacy of the silent voyager becomes part of ours. As the crew prepared to return to the horizon's edge, Kale's voice echoed one final time. Remember what you have learned. Humanity's strength lies not in dominance, but in courage, wisdom, and the willingness to act for the good of many. Carry this knowledge across the stars, and let it guide your species toward a future worthy of its potential. The galleon shifted gently against the tide, no longer testing them, but walking alongside them in silent respect. The horizon's edge detached from the tether, ready to explore the oceans and skies of Thalassia, carrying with it a crew changed forever. The journey back across the waters was quiet, filled with reflection. The crew had faced simulations of civilizations, chaotic disasters, and intricate mechanical challenges. Yet they had succeeded through ingenuity, unity, and courage. They had proven that humans were capable of rising to challenges beyond any other species, not through brute force, but through the uniquely human qualities of thought, compassion, and collaboration. When they finally reached open waters, Ilara looked back at the silent voyager. It was still, majestic, and glowing faintly under the twin suns. She felt a deep respect for the ancient ship, for Kale, and for the opportunity they had been given. This is only the beginning, she said softly. Humanity has earned its place among the stars, and we will not waste it. We will explore, we will learn, and we will protect. That is what it means to be human. The crew nodded, a silent understanding passing between them. They had faced the unknown, adapted, and prevailed. They had proven that humanity's greatest strength lay not in machines, weapons, or numbers, but in courage, ingenuity, and the spirit to rise above any challenge. And as the horizon's edge sailed across the metallic waves of Thalassia, the silent voyager followed silently behind, a guardian, a guide, and a testament to what humans could achieve when they embraced their potential. Humanity had faced the test, and it had risen victorious, not through domination, but through the essence of what made them truly human. The stars beyond Thalassia waited, vast and full of promise. And humanity, now forever connected to the silent voyager, was ready to take its place among them.